The Ford Model T 1-ton truck. Answer number 112. Do the instructions relative to the car apply to the truck? The answers pertaining to the car are applicable to the truck, with the exception of numbers 79, 80, and 81. Answer number 113. How are the rear axle and differential disassembled? With the universal joint disconnected, remove the bolt in front end of radius rods and the cap screws which hold the drive shaft tube to the rear axle housing. Then remove the rear axle housing cap. Also, the bolts which hold the two halves of the differential housing together. With the differential exposed to view, the manner of disassembling it will be apparent. Care must be exercised to get every part back in its correct position when reassembling, being sure to use new paper liners. Answer number 114. How is the worm removed? To remove the worm, drive out the pins which hold the coupling to the worm and drive shaft. Then remove the felt washer, roller bearing sleeve, and roller bearing by slipping them over the coupling. Drive the coupling off from the drive shaft and then force the worm from the coupling. Removing the worm nut will permit the removal of the retaining washer, thrust bearing, and rear worm roller bearing. In reassembling, be sure that the pin which holds the retaining washer stationary is in place. Answer number 115. How is the differential gear removed from the shaft? The differential gear is fastened to the inner end of the rear axle shaft by means of splines, and is held in position by a ring which is in two halves and fits in a groove in the rear axle shaft. To remove the gear, force it down on the shaft, that is, away from the end to which it is fastened. Drive out the two halves of the ring in groove in shaft with screwdriver or chisel, and force the gear off the end of the shaft. Answer number 116. What about lubricating the rear axle? Extreme care must be used in lubricating the differential. An A1 heavy fluid or semi-fluid oil, such as Mobil Oil C or Whittemore's Worm Gear Protective, should be used and carried at a level with the upper oil plug. The differential is supplied with the required amount of lubricant when the truck leaves the factory, and the supply should be maintained by replenishments as required. After running the truck about 500 miles, the oil should be drained off by removing the lower oil plug, and the differential filled with fresh lubricant. This operation should be repeated at approximately 1,000 miles, and after that, whenever necessary. The rear axle outer roller bearings are lubricated by means of dope cups. These cups should be kept filled with a good grade of grease and given a full turn every 100 miles. Before putting the truck back in service after the rear axle has been taken down, fill the differential with oil. Jack up the axle and run it for 5 or 10 minutes to ensure proper lubrication of all bearings. Truck rear axle. Longitudinal view. Cut number 20. Truck rear axle. Cross-section showing worm and worm gear. Cut number 21. Starter and generator units. Cut number 22.